I thought that was the record button. That was the view different screen button.
Yeah, that was the view difference. So that comes back to
Okay. Either way, it's fine on here.
content.
We're still figuring out the tech here.
Yeah. Full, but come on, it's a brand new world.
What about if we click down here?
Engineers love to change
Look down
things.
The Chrome button. They can see it.
They can see that. Yeah.
Oh no, they can't over
And
hear that.
those folks can't. Gallery view, speaker view. Where's the focus? No, I'm trying to get back to the content.
Have that on that
Gotcha.
in there.
You have to share applications.
But it's over here.
I did.
Try it again. Maybe it canceled it.
Oh, no, I did. It did cancel the share. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I did. Okay. In there, okay.
So basically, don't touch anything. Don't touch that button.
Don't hit that button.
Yeah, don't touch that
That button
button.
is recording. I'm sure we've got the transcription going,
I know.
and this will go on our permanent records.
It will. Okay. All right. Well, I want y'all to know, believe it or not, we do have some tech skills, but don't hold this against us. So I'm Jennifer Davis. I'm one of your instructors for this course. Tim will not be here next week, so we're going to have to go through this exercise of figuring out how to get this thing turned on and how to work again, because it'll be me by myself. So who knows what next week's going to hold. Okay, so we're here for another, I think we can't decide if this is our 6th or 7th year teaching this course. We enjoy teaching it. Here's the great thing. Our teaching styles are
Vastly different.
complementary. I'm much more of the hippy dippy flighty on my toes. Tim stays up at night and worries about things. The good news is, if you hate my teaching style, you only have to really have it for about half the semester. And if you love it, the bad news is you only get it for about half the semester, because there are some lectures that Tim and I will vice versa. So get that out of the way. So I am the state's chief privacy officer. I'm actually about to move into a new role in 2 weeks. I'm gonna be the deputy CIO. I have no idea what I'm doing. It's gonna be a challenge, but
That's like a demotion though, isn't it?
no, it's a promotion.
Really?
Well, I mean, really, pay-wise, it's a promotion. Position-wise, it's a promotion. It may feel like a demotion once I actually start doing this. But they asked me to, they need some help up there.
Jay?
Yeah. But I am the state's chief privacy officer. I was appointed to that position in 2018. I am a licensed attorney. So for the state, I do both our privacy work and serve as in-house counsel. Before law school, which I didn't go to law school until I was in my mid to late 30s, I was a database developer. So my skills are outdated as far as coding and technology, but I still know enough to remain at least slightly dangerous and to be able to get my way through it. So now, especially when it comes to all the new languages and, you know, the AI and the quantum computing, I don't know that my brain can really handle all of that. But like I say, so I have a variety of skills that somehow or another Dr. Pierce thought I was qualified to teach this course. So in my free time, I have a daughter who I have to share her now because she is married. But I like to travel, and I have 2 dogs who are at home patiently waiting for me. And I just bought them some of those yak bones, and they both snubbed their nose at them. Do you know how much I paid for those?
Did you tell them that?
We were going to have a talk when I get home if they haven't chewed on them. And so I have 2 dogs, and I have, you know, lots of little hobbies here, there, and everywhere that I'm involved in. This semester should be better because last semester I was in the middle of being a campaign manager for a judicial candidate. He won, thankfully. So this semester should be much more a breeze. It was kind of a rough year for both of us. Maybe the year before that too. It's been a rough
It's
been
a rough
couple years.
century.
And I will tell you, here's the thing, Tim and I, we will go through this course. We will give you every single thing that you need to pass this course. It is going to be a little different than maybe if you're used to like have a book.
We're not going to give it to them.
We're going to tell you how to find it. But you know, it might be a little bit different course because it's kind of designed to be a little bit more like a practicum, like a real world experience rather than fully academic, which some people struggle with that because there is so much freedom in there. So some people will struggle with it, but Tim and I are here to help you. We make ourselves available. You'll see we go through the syllabus. Our phone numbers are there, our email. We'll, you know, answer your questions. We'll review your assignments for you, and we'll cover all that later. I didn't pull the stats, but Tim and I mean, at least a good, I'd say 90% of our classes on average have gotten a passing grade.
Oh.
I think I've given, we've had to give 1 or 2 Fs over the course of like 7 years, but those were people who just basically just didn't turn in assignments. Maybe 1 or 2 Ds, but overwhelmingly, we'll give out A's and B's. If everybody earns an A, we give everybody an A. I don't care. I don't grade on a curve. If you earn an A, we're going to give an A. We're probably easy graders for the most part.
Well, it's not an easy class.
No.
In the sense that you can come in and skate by and get a good grade. You have to do the work. The work, I don't think, is all that intellectually challenging, but you have to do the work.
Right.
And you have to plan for the time that it's going
Right.
to take
And
to do the
so
work if you want to get a good grade.
Juanita said that she, give her the content, she will adjust it. And we will, here's the thing, we've done this class enough that we know exactly where your pitfalls are going to be because we've seen it happen every year. So we will warn you about those pitfalls. But for the most part, if you show up, if you participate and you do the work, you're not going to have any problem passing this class with an A. And we'll give it. So it's not limited. We would love to give you an A. But for the most part, almost everybody in our class gets an A or B. We give some C's out, but it usually pains us to give anything less than that. But the C's are people who just didn't do the work or didn't take advantage of the help that we have offered and showed up. So y'all are going to be fine. I'll go ahead and let Tim introduce himself, and then we can get into the syllabus and we can talk some more about stuff. We do have lecture tonight. You will learn that when I am done, I will let us go.
When I'm done, I'll let us go.
I know, but I'm just saying, if we get out of class early, I'm not complaining. Tim will be, if anybody keeps you till 8:40, it's going to be Tim. By 8 o'clock, I'm already thinking, this hour? I need to be in bed. So, but we will get through this semester. We have a great time teaching it. We're all going to get through this. So, Tim, go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Tim Holtoff. Please call me Tim. We're Tim and Jennifer.
Yeah,
it's not
Dr.
fancy
Mrs. Davis, but yeah.
We don't care about that stuff. I am the director of the Court Information Systems Division for the Arkansas Administrative Office of the Courts. That means I am the judicial branch Chief Information and Chief Technology Officer. So I'm the CIO, CTO. So she's in the executive branch. I'm in the judicial branch. The judicial branch is a separate and equal branch of government. Many people often forget that. We're our whole branch of government. I have been in the Justice Building for 35 years. I started out as a library assistant in the Supreme Court Library. I had finished up a bachelor's degree in computer science at Vanderbilt, was working on a master's degree in library science, and ended up back here in Arkansas working at the library. I went away for 3 short years as the first automation librarian, at Delta State University. It's a small university in Mississippi. And then I was asked to come back to the Supreme Court Library as the assistant librarian. I loved the work because I got to use my computer science stuff and library science stuff. And then I fell in love with the law. It's a fickle thing, but sometimes it gets you and you just can't help it.
It's like how I feel about the legislative session. It is controlled chaos, and I love every single
Yeah.
minute of it, while it is equally frustrating.
And so glad when they leave.
Me too. But I feel
So
let down.
I went to law school and got a law degree, ended up as the Supreme Court librarian. I was the 13th Supreme Court librarian.
Lucky number
How about that?
13.
Yes. In 2001, I was asked to go down the hallway to the Administrative Office of the Courts and begin a court automation project. So for the last 24 years, I've been working on bringing our courts around the state into the 20th century. We're about a quarter way through that, the 21st century, so
Yeah.
now I've got to start working on bringing them into the 21st century. But
You
we
can
have to
never
start-
retire.
We have to start somewhere.
You can never retire.
In addition to doing the technology stuff and the law stuff and the information science and library stuff, I enjoy teaching. I've enjoyed the opportunities to come and teach with Jennifer. I've been teaching various things for decades. I taught paralegals at Pulaski Tech. I taught, you're a web developer. I taught one of the first introductions to HTML at Pulaski Tech back in the 20th century.
1982?
Just a little bit later than that. I got to teach at the law school for a while. I did a computer law seminar for a while. So I love teaching and interacting with folks. I learn as much as I give, I think, in any time I teach.
Well, we have a question online that is why this class is taught by attorneys.
I don't know.
Well, we're licensed attorneys, but we also,
We
I'm
don't.
the state's chief privacy officer, so that kind of falls into my bailiwick there. And as the CTO, CIO, this also falls into Tim's bailiwick. We just happen to also be attorneys that have fallen into this. I
Yeah.
don't think it was a requirement.
No, it was just.
But privacy, the whole point of privacy is it's not just, okay, yes, you're data science people, and this is the first time you get a class taught by attorneys. Okay, and that's a great point.
Nobody
but-
will hold that against
But
me.
here's the thing. All of you in this class are highly technical data scientists.
Yeah.
You can make a system do whatever it is that you want it to do. We're hoping to point out to you that you should ask the question, should you do it? And if you do it, what is the implications of that? Because it is not about the technology,
Yes.
which is going to fall outside of what you're used to. And so I think that's why they have us in there, because the privacy and the laws that are tied into it, hence the attorneys come in, because it is somewhat in the legal realm of it. And when you get sued and or, face any kind of other legal action because of your failure to protect people's data, again, the question is not, can you make them do it? Because again, you can make the systems do whatever you want it to. The question is going to be, and what we're going to try to get to you to think about is, should you? And if somebody comes to you and says, hey, you got this great big job at XYZ company, and I want the system to collect this data, but you know what? We're going to turn around and sell it to any of these other companies over there. You need to be able to say, should we do that?
Can we
Or
do that?
can we do it? Or, you know what? You are working for a company in New York that also has offices in Paris.
And you're working remotely from Arkansas.
Exactly. So they're wanting to collect data. Well, you're developing a system. What notifications do you have to tell people? Because you've got, is there a New York law? Is there a US law? You better be sure there is a European law. And that's going to determine how you develop your system. You know, are you going to develop your system with, I'm going to have a choice to opt in? Or is it going to be on the automatic, you have to opt out? Like you're automatically opted in to marketing versus opt out. And that will make a difference depending upon your location. If you are working in a company that is developing for a cross-jurisdictional operation, whether it's multiple U.S. states, multiple, countries, every one of them is going to have something different. And you need to be able to be aware of that, because again, you can make the system do whatever you want, but I guarantee you, when you violate GDPR in Paris because you didn't have an affirmative opt-in, because they require the affirmative to opt in, not you have to automatically get opt-in and you can opt out later. When they get sued and they get fined by the European Union for that, who are they going to come to? You, because you didn't develop the system right. So that is probably the reason why we get called in, because we have, it's not just a straight data science course.
It's a marriage of law and technology.
Exactly.
The policy influences
Absolutely.
the technology. And we can't just develop and deploy technologies without any thought to the
You can't
policy
separate.
implications of doing those things. And it's not.
But that's a great question.
Yeah,
It's the only time I think that's the only time we've ever been asked that.
Yeah.
It's a great question.
Why you got attorneys up there?
We ask ourselves that every day.
You're not going to be turned into attorneys. You're not going to be able to recite GDPR.
You're not going to be a privacy officer. You're not going to be any of that.
Well, you will be a privacy officer.
You will.
In the
You will.
scenario.
In our scenario, that's correct.
But the objective really is in the real world, while you're working, if you get an assignment or if you're working on a project, if you can identify that there may be some privacy policy implications into it, you've just amazingly increased your value to the organization. Just saying, hey,
And if you don't,
I think we might need to have legal take a
right,
look
and
at
if
this.
you don't, you have increased your liability to your corporation and the company that you're in, and it could bankrupt you depending upon where it's at and what happens. We'll see an example in my first PowerPoint. I think it was a mortgage company. I think it was mortgage. Developed, like you could go out there and it clicks and, it brings up your mortgage documents, maybe mortgage application. I can't remember exactly what was in there. Well, you get a link and it's whatever link. Well, they hit back. Well, it went to the persons before that, because just say like my document's number 1, Tim's is number 2, yours is number 3, yours is number 4, yours is number 5. So when Tim went to number 2, if he hit back, it would automatically, instead of, canceling out, it went to my documents, which had my social security number, my bank account, my financial information. And that was a technology flaw.
Yeah.
But they got fined pretty heavily for it. But the person.
We had that same experience.
Exactly.
With an out of the box solution from a court technology vendor. And they did exactly that. So they just had a 1-up on the primary ID, the primary key for the document. And every time I added a document, it just did a 1-up. So in the web browser, I just put in a number. I go up without any analysis of my permission to be able to see the thing. And when we discovered that, it was like, how stupid was that?
Exactly. But because it opened that company up to releasing essentially other people's personal financial information, then they opened themselves up to fines. So whether it was sloppy coding, whether it was unknown regulations or somebody didn't care, it was poor user testing, it was poor all the above.
All those things.
Either way, didn't matter when they got that multi-million-dollar fine. And then they had to tell all their customers, by the way, your data has been involved in a data breach, which then also hurts their reputation. So we want you as data scientists and developers to, at the end of this course, to be able to go, I think we need to get legal involved here. I don't know what it is, but there's something with privacy. There's something legal. We need to get legal. We need to get the privacy officer. We need to get somebody involved in here because there's something.
Or maybe we need to get the data team in here.
The whole data
Yeah,
team. We'll learn later that
Yeah.
it should be a whole team. But those are the reasons. Yeah.
So let
Okay,
me.
go ahead, continue.
back- no,
Continue.
back-
That was a
no,
great
continue.
question. We've never had that.
Yeah, it was great question. So, been doing the teaching thing for a long time. In my outside of work and teaching life,
Do you have one?
I'm sometimes like this much. I'm a big sci-fi fan. My life has been inspired by science fiction stuff. So I really enjoy the sci-fi thing.
Star Trek.
Star Trek, Star Wars,
I don't know.
all those.
I mean, I'll take Harry Potter. I mean, it's not really sci-fi. It's real. You never
That's
know.
okay. Harry Potter
Muggle.
was fun. It was a good looks. I think the other thing to know about both of us, we have real jobs and busy jobs, but we try,
Right.
during the course of the semester, we will do our best to make ourselves available by phone, fax, email,
Ow.
whatever, yeah. Just, reach out to us.
But at the same time, though, we also understand both Tim and I went to school while we also work full time. And
Yes,
so we understand that y'all probably been working all day, or those of you who don't, maybe you're a stay-at-home parent, that's the 2 full-time jobs. Whatever your case is, we understand. But at the same time, though, we won't take "I was busy at work" as an excuse for why your assignment's late.
that will never work as an excuse.
No.
for
Now,
failures.
heaven forbid something tragic happened, we will work with you. But "I was busy at work" does not fly. So, but we do understand, which is also part of the reason why if the class is over at 8, I'm not making you stay till 8:40 because you've probably been going since 5 o'clock that morning.
Yeah, and if we're done at 8:39,
Yeah,
we're-
Tim will
we're
let
outta
you
here.
go.
We're out.
Tim will give you that minute back. And I will tell you, and we'll just go ahead and get this out of the way. We usually end every class with it, and we probably will. Tim and I both are really concerned with mental health. And when we say mental health, it doesn't.
Not our own.
Yeah, not our own, because
necessarily.
we're crazy. But mental health doesn't have to be, you have to have like a diagnosis of some sort. It could be stress. Life is stressful and, like, especially during COVID and those first few years after that, but life in general is stressful. We get lots of demands from our family. You're trying to work, you're trying to go to school, things happen, could be financial, whatever the case is. We encourage you to take care of yourself. Take care of others, take care of yourself, because here's the thing, this is important. Getting your master's or your PhDs, all the things, those are important.
Those are important.
But if you sacrifice everything else along the way, then there's no point. Okay, so this is important, but it is not life. And so you have to do something every week that makes yourself feel human, whether it's have dinner with your family, take your kids to the park, play with the dog, watch a movie.
Go dancing.
Do what?
Go dancing.
Go dancing, exactly. Whatever it is that makes you feel human, don't forget to do all that, because otherwise this has no purpose. You want the people who are with you in your life today to be there when you graduate. So don't sacrifice
And
that.
that, I think for both of us, that was a key lesson we both learned in law school. And we were successful. We were
Yep.
successful
Yep.
law students.
So,
But that was one of those key things. is
Absolutely.
You have to carve the time to take care of yourself.
Yeah, and-
So we expect that.
yeah, like I said, I had a friend of mine, 6 o'clock on Saturdays, everything got stopped, and her and her husband always had date night. Whether it's whatever it is that you do, keep doing those things. You may have to cut them back a bit because you're in school, but don't forget the reasons why you're pursuing these degrees. And additionally, we have a lot of students who are, Arkansas is not their home. Their home may be another state, maybe another country. So there's some homesickness, which I can't even imagine. there's some adjustments. There are people who do struggle with actual, diagnosable mental health, whatever the case is. If we can help you, we will, but, we have it, I think, in the syllabus, the health services on campus does offer confidential mental health. I mean, and even again, if it's just talking to somebody because you're stressed or trying to manage your workload or you're overwhelmed or whatever the case is, you just don't have to suffer silently. It's really the point. And just do something to take care of yourself. So we will probably tell you every class period when we end it. And it's not to be condescending to anybody, but it's just a reminder that it's important because, again, this is important, but this stuff here is not your life. So, okay.
Let's jump into some of the classroom things.
All the fun stuff now.
All the fun stuff. I'm assuming that since several of you made it to our virtual class, some of you made it to the real world class, that you have found the class in Blackboard. It's a brand new Blackboard. So are you doing this with your classes? Are you like creating from scratch, or did you copy all your
Everything's starting from scratch.
Yeah,
There is some migration there, but I mean.
When I first started looking at it, I decided pretty quickly we're gonna build this from scratch.
And by the end of the semester, I might have it figured out on how to use it, but
You will.
no promises.
It's so easy. It's very, very intuitive. Very intuitive. So I want to hit on a few of the key things about the class and what to expect. We have some of the required links to university policies and resources. Familiarize yourselves with these things. Take advantage of all that the university has to offer. We had a summer intern who's starting here as a undergrad, a freshman, and he wants to become a cybersecurity expert. So
fantastic.
this is the first time in a while that we've had a summer intern.
Fantastic.
He did a really great job. We had one a few years ago who ended up working for Costco. I think he became on the cybersecurity team at Costco. Anyway, that one of the things I've already told him is take advantage. He's going to be living here on campus, so take advantage of those university resources. He may drop by sometime too, or here. We are easy to find. We're not going to share our locations with you, but text us. I mean, that's the easiest thing. If you shoot a text, identify yourself.
Right, because if you call me, I'm probably not going to answer because I recognize the number.
I don't answer my phone.
No. But call us, email, text us, something like that. We are available is the point. We are available.
Yeah, but don't say click on this link or anything like that, because those will go away too.
If you text me at midnight, I will probably text you back at 5 a.m. So
I just became a certified court manager. I finished the national CCM course a couple of weeks ago.
Congratulations.
So a CCM and a PMP and
Oh, fancy. He's your real professor.
No. I'm gonna hit the discussion. Let's talk about discussions.
Okay, so we will give you a discussion question weekly. And we'll open up after this class, sometime Thursday morning. We usually have it.
We'll try to have it open up automatically right after class.
But you have a whole week to answer. You have it until the start of class the next week to answer it. It will be relevant to the weekly discussion. So it's not like you're going to get out there and think, did we cover this? I've never seen this, because that's how that was my experience in online classes. Here's your lecture. The discussion weekly post had nothing to do with it. That is not how this course is. Oftentimes it's like, why do you think of something? So it's kind of opinion based, but we do expect thoughtful responsive in order to get your points. And your responses to your classmates, what do we say, 3?
Two, you have to respond to
Two?
two other posts. Yeah.
But you can't just say, I agree. And you can't get creative, like we had one student one time that basically said, I've read what you wrote and really I concur with all that you said. I thought it was really nice. That's basically I agree. But they were creative, I'll give them that, but you still won't get points for it. But we don't want you to write a thesis. And
No.
and if you cite anything, we don't care, like if it's APA or.
Yeah, so to support the rationale of whatever you're stating, you should do a little bit of research. And again, this isn't like thesis, it's a weekly discussion question.
Mhm.
Find something to support whatever your position or opinion is and share that with the rest of the class.
But again, you could just give us a link. You don't have to do like I wouldn't know honestly if it was in the correct APA site for the most part anyways. So just something where we can find it. Put your link in there. But you don't have to left hanging indent and all that. We don't care about that.
So this is how we'll grade the responses to get the full. So for each question, the response, your response and your responses to two other posts is cumulatively worth 3 points each week. Responses that go beyond simply answering the question, attempts to stimulate further discussion, or multiple relevant responses. You're not limited to 2 responses. Your classmates may say something interesting. You may want to actually engage in some conversation. So that's how you get the full 3 points.
Right. And we don't take attendance, but we do want you to be actively engaged in discourse with your classmates.
Yes. If your response provides most of the content required by the prompt, but doesn't really require further analysis, you'll get 2 points. If your response provides obvious information without further analysis of the concept, lacks any depth of knowledge or reasoning, you'll get a point. If you do not timely respond, or if your response, and this has happened a few times.
A few times.
And I'm not even sure how that happened, but there were a few times where folks would put something out there, maybe testing to see if we're really reading these things. Have you ever heard? Yeah. So there would be stuff that was like totally non sequitur to what the question was. You get 0 points for that. You have to be responsive. So this is an easy way. Again, it's not a huge time consumer, but you have to plan to provide your own response and also have the time to respond to other classmates. So if everybody waits until 5:55 on the day that it's due, nobody will get any points because nobody will have any response to be able to
Right. So we don't
engage in
make
the
you have to
discussion.
do your initial post by a certain day, but it will behoove you to get it in sooner rather than later.
Yes.
And you think it's only 3 points, but the points you get for the discussion question as a whole over the course of this semester will be enough to make a difference in a letter grade for you.
Yes.
So just be aware of that.
Could you please share a few good discussion participations?
I mean, what it would be like is like we might ask you, and it's hard because they're all so different.
Yeah.
But like we might ask you something like,
Is privacy in the 21st century
Right.
Real or an illusion?
and
Does it
somebody might
even
go out there
exist?
and be like, well, I really think that it's a real issue. According to GovTech, 95% of companies have experienced a data loss in some form or fashion. Now, only half of that, according to GovTech, is responsible for this. But as we saw in the Equifax breach, so yes, I think it's a real issue. I mean, something like that. Again, we're not asking for full dissertation type of stuff, but something meaningful in discourse, it might require you to Google a little bit. But I mean, really simple Google and reading a few articles is going to be.
And referring to the things that we talk about in class.
Exactly. So something like that.
Does that help, Rajesh? Awesome. Let's go through the syllabus now. And I need to update with the course number. So, and that's 2 strikes against me on the first night. So we talked a little bit about the course itself. So these are some of the key things that we're going to be talking about. Privacy law fundamentals. We're going to be talking about privacy program management.
Hold on a second. For those of y'all online, do y'all see the syllabus?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Okay, I think before I got several messages just now that people could see it, but we didn't have anything pulled up yet. That's why.
Okay,
Okay, just making sure. Carry on.
thank you.
Continue.
So we'll be talking about privacy program management. In many industries, including for the courts, we have to give some thought to how we're managing privacy especially when we're responsible for a lot of very sensitive information. In the court system, we have adoption information, we have juvenile information, we have, for criminal cases, we have a lot of personal identifying information. I need to know eye color, hair color, height, weight, gender, race, to make sure that we're incarcerating the right person. So we have to have this information, and because we collect it,
You must protect it.
That still corrects me.
I know.
I know.
If you don't protect it, don't collect
If you don't need it, you must delete
it. You
it.
must delete it.
So if you
We get tired by the end of the night. I'm just saying. So.
get tired of all the laughing that we hear from the audience. So we'll be talking about privacy program management, either in the private sector or in the government sector. We've got, again, we're not going to take deep dives into global privacy law, but we will try to engender some awareness of those things. We're going to be talking about privacy by design, and a lot of our focus is going to be not so much on cybersecurity per se, but the privacy aspects where cybersecurity touches it. So the common things that we see in the private sector, they have some sort of cybersecurity incident, which results in some sort of data incident, and then the release of all of our personal information. So our focus is not going to be so much on that cybersecurity side as it is on the data protection side, and the things that we can do with policy and procedure and technology to help protect the data that we're responsible for.
Exactly.
One of the big lessons that we try to get through is, although this is a technology class, a lot of our privacy responsibility is still around basic daily interactions. When we have our mail that comes in
Right.
through the U.S. Post Office, and we open our mail and leave it sitting out on our desk.
Well, as data scientists, you may develop a secure system, but what happens when somebody walks away from their
Pushes
computer?
print.
Yeah, or somebody walks away from their computer and leaves it unlocked.
Yeah.
Or loses an unencrypted laptop, or
Ugh.
follows you into a building, or doesn't deactivate an account of a user that no longer is employed with your company. Doesn't matter what you do from a technology standpoint to develop your application, it's still the basic human element there. You don't shred documents, things of that nature. And those are the kind of things that we want to step out of the data scientist role to think about.
Or locked file cabinets.
Lock filing cabinets, or don't collect it to begin with.
We'll spend some time talking about risk management. So just as in the cybersecurity realm, in the data privacy realm, we have to think about the risk aspects of the things that we do. And like we've already said, if you don't need it,
You must delete it.
you must delete it. If you collect it, you have to protect it. So we have to think about the risks involved in what we do and how we do it. We'll spend some time talking about the data privacy training and awareness opportunities that are coming. And then we'll spend some time talking and looking forward to what impacts these trending technologies are likely to have on data privacy. Right now, the generative AI stuff is absolutely terrifying when you consider the potential impacts to privacy today. And again, a lot of it is we'll be sharing stories, tales of terror,
Real world examples.
real world examples of the things that we've experienced in our roles. Textbooks, we have one required textbook, Privacy Law Fundamentals, 7th edition. Have you guys got the textbook yet? It's you can get it online from International Association of Privacy Professionals, IAPP. Highly recommend the Privacy Program Management text, although it's not required. It's got a lot of good information, especially on the types of assignments that we'll be doing for the class. Almost every day, and I didn't bring any today, but almost every day there's something going on in the news about a data breach or a privacy breach. So we'll try to highlight those things. So we'll try to keep some current awareness. Also, we'll ask folks to share those things in our discussion channel if you see them. We don't count absences. We only meet once a week. If you miss a class, if you don't at least watch the recording and do the work, you'll get behind, get lost. We'll be talking about the assignments themselves coming up in a little bit, but the stuff that we talk about in the class is very relevant to the work that you'll be doing for the assignments. So if you get behind, it'll be really easy to get lost and then not be able to complete the assignments. So
And the recordings will be out there. We post everything, usually if not that night, the next morning.
It's never that night.
That's true, not the recording. But the recording will be out there with the PowerPoint, so you can watch it.
That's usually part of my morning routine, Thursday morning routine. Read the newspaper, look a little Facebook, check my email, and then update the course stuff. So if you don't see anything by like 7 o'clock in the morning, it may be a little bit later before.
Right, but we usually post it by day, so you still have a whole week to watch lecture get caught up.
So this is the syllabus. Tonight, we're doing the introduction to the class, basically the essentials, the fundamentals, why we're doing this stuff. And then we're going to be talking about the fundamentals of a privacy officer. What does a privacy officer do? So your first assignment is actually, as a new chief privacy officer, you have to present to your employer some goals that you want to achieve to build a privacy program. So it'll be important to understand, what does a privacy officer do? What are those responsibilities in order to be able to complete the first assignment? Next week, I'll be out, but Jennifer will be here, continue focusing on identifying, protecting personal information. The following week, September 3rd. So the assignments are going to come fairly quickly. The first assignment due at 6 o'clock. September 3rd is the privacy goals as the new chief privacy officer. We'll start looking into what a privacy policy is and what a privacy notice is, and how those two things interact. One of the fun things that we'll do is have working sessions where we'll show up for class. We won't have any new material to cover. Folks are welcome to come in the real world or virtual world, yeah, and ask questions. Or one of the things, I don't know if it's common for other classes, but we encourage sending us the work before it's done, and we're happy to give you some guidance. Are you headed in the right direction? Are there things that you need to focus on? So not only will we give you a grade for your final submission, we're happy to review your submissions before they're due. Not 5 minutes before they're due, it's too late. But as those due dates approach.
So you have a work day that if you have questions, you can come to, pop in, ask your questions, stuff like that. If you don't have questions, then you don't have to come, but we do make ourselves available. And because this is normally a scheduled time, we try to make ourselves available for you to show up to ask those questions. So there's no reason why you should not take advantage of that.
But it's also another one of those reasons why there's really no excuse to not get a good grade.
Exactly.
And for all the assignments, we're happy to take a look at them before you submit it and provide some advice. Sometimes it's going to be some general advice. We're not going to read them to grade them, but we're going to look, is the content in the right neighborhood for an appropriate submission? And if we see something that's missing, we'll say, hey, did you think about this? Or about this fact that may be relevant. So we're happy to help. We would love to give everybody a good grade if we could.
Are we here on the scenario today?
Yes.
Oh, we may not have time.
I know. We're going to be here at least till 10 tonight.
I will not be.
The second.
I'm covered 8:40, but
Yes.
next week is a shorter lecture. That lecture's not that long, so we'll be fine.
Okay. And then, so something new this semester, we have a few classes where we're going to focus primarily on some of those things that past students seem to miss on the assignment. So there were, it's like it's been this way every year, and we've changed and altered the way that we did it. The very first year, we were law students. And in law school,
You have one exam.
You have one exam at the end of the semester, and that's your grade. So we would work with the students throughout the course, but everything was due at the end. And that didn't work well
That
did
not work well for non-law students.
That didn't work. So then we started breaking them up. So now, and then we had like 2 assignments due throughout the course. And it's like, even that was too much. So now we've broken it down. So it's basically 1 assignment a month-ish to get through the course.
And they all build. So we'll go through, we have a class scenario. All of these assignments, with the exception of 1, all build on this scenario. And we will tell you this. We will tell you several times. As attorneys, and just even in the real world, nobody starts from scratch. Okay, you're gonna go look at other people's work, not necessarily cheat off your classmate, but so one of our assignments is to do a privacy policy. You can Google privacy policy, and every company in the world is gonna have something on the website. We want you to go out and look at those things. However, you will get, the issue is not finding them. The issue is understanding what to do with them. So we have a class scenario that every one of these assignments is going to build on to the final. People want to take it easy. And they go out there, and we've even had some students not even change the name to the fake company in the scenario and turn in a privacy policy.
Yeah.
Or it's so generic that it could apply to like a Bitcoin company or it could
Or
apply
a brick
to
manufacturer.
a brick manufacturer. It doesn't have anything to do with the class scenario. I will tell you, if you want to get an A in this class, your best bet is to understand the class scenario. Because we are not grading you on if you can write a privacy policy as polished as the Googles or the Microsofts or the Apples of the world, because you are not the Googles and the Microsofts and the Apples of the world. We are not grading you on grammar. I mean, obviously do some spell check, but especially like if English is not your first language, we don't worry about that. We're not grading you on that. We want to see something authentic, even if it's less sophisticated, versus turning in something that looks completely polished and you really have no idea what it says. So when we go through this scenario, that's really where you need to dig in, and those will be where your questions will come from. Because if you understand the scenario, this other work, easy as can be.
Yeah, we had
Had
folks that, SANS Institute has some great templates. So
There you go.
But you have to make it your own.
You have to make it your
to-
own, and you have to cite
customize
to
it.
any of your
Yeah.
sources. And we'll cover that later, but you
Yeah.
have to make it your own. And the only way you're going to make it your own is by understanding the class scenario.
you have
And
to
that is
understand it.
key. And so many people in the past, that has been an afterthought rather than the number one thing. And
Right.
I feel like that's the number one thing. So anyway,
Yes.
okay.
September 24th, a second assignment is due. That's the privacy policy and the privacy notice. So we're being real clear that both of those things are required. We'll be working on building an incident response plan. Again, it's not a cybersecurity incident response plan, but a data incident response plan. The third assignment is the template, the impact assessment. Yeah. So for that, and we'll get into details, but that we're not asking you to do an impact assessment, but provide a template for the organization to conduct those assessments. We'll have a deeper dive into incident response. We'll have a work day, and then the thing will be due. In November, we usually have our final lecture. The following week is our final work day. Then you'll have Thanksgiving break, no class. And then on the last day of class is when the final project is due. So that's be turned in.
I mean, so we get you out before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, if you keep up with the work, and then we won't have any classes after Thanksgiving. This is how our grading is broken down with the due date. So first assignment is due September 3rd, assignment 2, the 24th. It's worth 15% of your grade. The privacy impact assessment template is 15%. Data breach incident response plan is 15%. And then the final project is 30%. We look at your weekly discussion and participation, and that's worth up to 20% of your final grade. Already talked about that.
Extra credit.
And late work.
Okay. Yes, late work. If you are going to be late in your assignment, work is not an excuse. If you have a legitimate reason, a real true emergency, and again, we work full time, so we are sticklers on this. You have to, I mean, obviously, if you're like in the middle of an emergency on the way to class, don't call us. But I mean, you have to let us know as soon as possible, preferably prior kind of thing. We've had students who said, I might be late. My mother-in-law died. That was 1 year. He said, my mother-in-law died. We haven't set the funeral date. I'm like, take your time. He ended up getting it in on time that week anyways. But you have to have a legitimate emergency. You can message us, text us, call, whatever the case is. But it's generally beforehand. That's the only way we're going to let you make up work.
There was 1 year, a guy that lived down in South Arkansas. I came to the in-person class, but he drove up from South Arkansas.
He was trying to get his submission in
Uh-huh,
and the internet was really bad.
right.
So he was like texting on his way,
Yeah.
driving in order
mean,
to
so-
try to get the.
So we're
submission in.
reasonable, but again, you can't just, oh, I didn't turn it in, I'm late, can I make it up? No, I mean, you gotta be reasonable.
And often what we'll do, because stuff does happen, we may say, yeah, we'll give you another few
Yeah.
days or another week, but
We'll take off points.
you have to turn in what you have so far
Mhm.
by the due date.
So we've
So,
had students say, can I have some extra time, which basically they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And then they just get, 4 more days extra than your classmates get, and that's not fair.
Yeah.
But like if you're late getting your, assignment turned in at 6, because you just misjudged the time, you got stuck in traffic, whatever, go ahead and still turn it in as soon as possible. Or your discussion questions, stuff like that. But that also is the reason why you don't really want to wait till the last day to get your discussion questions in. But we're reasonable, but again, y'all are all paying good money for this course and we're all adults, and in the real world, they're not gonna take those excuses.
Yeah.
Okay, extra credit. We will say this now.
how do you get extra credit?
We will say it again. Somebody is still gonna ask and we're still gonna say no. There is absolutely no extra credit in this course. 0, don't ask, no makeup assignments. You can't make it up for half the points. No extra credit. The most important thing is you will not need it in this course because we will give you everything. We've built in like 4 work days to work with you. Plus we will have made ourselves available to review your assignments. So no extra credit will be given. You can ask, but don't, because the answer is still going to be no, but you will not need it.
Okay. But how do the students get extra credit?
Yeah, they don't. I did have one student one year that was like, okay, can I have extra credit? No. Can I redo my assignment? No. They said, how about if I just go ahead and redo the assignment, and if you like it, you can give me extra points? Still no. Focus on the next assignment, okay? No extra credit, no makeup, none of that. No rework for half the credit. So.
Are there any questions about that?
No.
No. Okay.
But do we kind of get extra credit? No.
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 But you won't need it in this course. We promise.
What if I do like a really good job on the next discussion question? Can I get some extra credit?
No, you will get 3
No.
points.
Up to 3 points.
Up to 3 points. You should have been doing a really good job
Yeah.
on all of it, and all 3.
All the way. All the way. Hopefully all of you guys have heard of generative AI by now. ChatGPT is going to be 3 this year. Is that right? 3 years old?
ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Oh,
November
I thought
3.
it was like 5.0, but go ahead. Yeah.
I know, but it's I
Maybe.
think it's 3 years old. It'll be a 3-year-old. And right now it
You want
seems
me to
like it's
ask it?
asking, yeah, how old is ChatGPT? Have you got 5.1?
I do.
Okay. When were you born, ChatGPT?
Two years, 8 months, and 21 days
Yeah,
old.
so almost 3 years old. So,
It officially launched November 30th, 2022.
okay. So this is also one of the things I like to share with other classes. I'm showing my age, but I remember when the PC revolution happened. So when I was a high school student, I got to go down to Radio Shack to use their TRS-80 because we had one in the classroom. Would take my cassette down, write my basic program. Dinosaur days, exactly. But the PC revolution, I remember when suddenly PCs were everywhere, and that changed everything. But, as a kid, I had one friend who worked for Xerox, I think, at the time, and they had a machine. After that, the internet. I remember the day that America Online was released to the global internet.
You've got mail.
You've got mail. When I was spacing some basic on a trash
No, I didn't have an Atari
Okay.
and a Commodore 64.
That's Commodore 64.
I know I'm old, so.
But it changed everything. Suddenly we had this globally connected community. And our world changed. And then the smartphones came along. So we had computers, I mean, powerful computers in our hands that were connected to the internet. So always connected.
Okay, Lester's mom was back in high school in those days, so
Yeah.
we know who the millennials are. And the Gen, what are we on, Gen X?
Gen A, Gen Z.
Oh, yeah, we are in Gen X. We know who the
Gen-
younger people in this class are.
Gen ABC, I don't know.
I don't know where they are.
But that changed everything. So we had the smartphone revolution. This moment that we're in technologically with generative AI, and we see this looming technology of quantum computing, this is a major moment technology-wise. This is paradigm shifting technology, and as technology professionals, you have to be aware of what's going on. And we encourage the use of these tools for this class.
With caveats.
With caveats. So the result that we've seen is the quality of the submissions generally has been much better when folks use these tools. It could be simply to improve grammar or the quality of the analysis. But you have to do the synthesis and the analysis. You have to identify the materials. You have to sort through the stuff that's relevant and not relevant. You have to do that part. The AI isn't going to do that for you. It'll be guaranteed almost certainly to miss substantially.
And again, we allow you to use resources. I mean, we encourage you. There's no reason to start from scratch. But you have to tell us your citations. Again, it doesn't have to be APA format. If you use ChatGPT or some other AI, you have to give us the prompts that you use.
Yeah.
I will tell you this. If you turn in an assignment that I know is AI, and I'll run it through an AI checker, and if it's 100% AI and you don't have a source on it, you're not going to get credit.
No credit. So use the tools and tell us how you use the tools.
And we will tell you now, because we're telling you that you can use outside resources, you are going to lull yourself into a false sense of security that you can bang these assignments out without doing hardly any work. And what we will find, like we have found every year, is after their privacy policy gets turned in and students get their grades back, they start thinking, oh, holy moly, I need to actually do some work because I didn't like my grade. And that's when they start making up for it, because they get lulled into that false sense of security.
Yeah.
They turn in generic. It might be beautifully polished and crafted and worded, but it is generic. It has nothing to do with the class assignment. So you do get lulled into a false sense of security. So don't do that. Focus on understanding the scenario, and then the tools will come easy.
Yeah, I think the worst that I've seen so far was when a student, without any substantive changes, turned in a previous year's student's
That
work.
was a good one.
That
That
was-
was one of the students we failed.
That was
One of the few Fs
a
we
nightmare
given.
scenario. So
Yeah, they took a previous student's assignment from a previous class and changed like the name of the company.
minimal changes.
But it was completely different scenario. So nothing was that. And then there was also two students who were not working as partners, but whatever our fake company name was, I don't remember, it was a few years ago. I guess they Googled it and found a company that had a name similar in New York, but it was like a bakery or a laundromat or
Yeah.
something like that, whereas our scenario was a technology company, and they turned theirs in and didn't make any changes to it.
Yeah.
Like, didn't even have the right company name in it. That happens often.
Yeah. Details
These
matter.
don't matter.
Details matter. I think that's the key stuff on that stuff. Use Gen AI. Use it.
use
mean,
it.
you'd be stupid not to. But make it your own. That's the thing, is we want your stuff. We don't want AI to tell us how nicely it's written, because
Right.
again, we're not grading you. We would rather have something that is yours and authentic
And not polished.
and not polished than something that looks beautiful but means nothing. So keep
Yeah.
that in mind.
We'll use the course assignment announcement stuff. We use the emails.
Yeah.
So, I mean, watch your email space. We try to stay in close contact with all the students. Don't plagiarize. But again, our rule is share whatever sources you're using. Tell us where you got this stuff, and use what's available. We're about to rewrite our acceptable use policy. I'm not gonna write that from scratch. I'm gonna pull from many resources. If you have any disabilities, we follow the university disability
Let us
policy.
know.
Let us know and we'll make accommodations. Inclement weather. We've never had inclement weather in the fall semester, but who knows?
You never know.
Yeah, we might have a Halloween blizzard. I don't know. So
If it's as hot as right now, I wouldn't be upset.
I remember when we used to have snow days at work and school.
But now we don't have snow days anymore because
They're-
you can just work remotely.
They're gone. They're gone.
Okay, are there any
Goodbye.
questions about the syllabus?
I have one.
Okay.
I didn't see like a assigned reading list. Is that something you'll say at the end of each class to help guide us through the assignments?
Yes. Yeah. So we'll be talking about that when we get down into the weekly material. So
Right.
each week, we'll have a weekly materials posting. It'll show whatever the reading assignment is. If we have a discussion board
Right, we'll post the
question,
discussion one, and a
that'll,
link to the recording.
that'll be posted. We'll link to the recording. We'll link to the slide
You'll put
deck.
the slide deck.
So each week we'll have the reading assignment for the week. If you read ahead, I mean, that ideally, that would be the best. But the main thing is for this chunk of work for the week, if you can take the time to read in the required.
Right, but there'll be, each
Text.
week we'll have a material thing and it'll have everything in there.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Oh, crap. I think I just.
Yeah, where did you go?
Yeah,
Oh.
let me go back into student preview. Okay, talked about those things. Okay, let's talk about the assignments. So
All right.
this is gonna take a minute.
This is, yeah. It doesn't open, it opens up in the browser. So when you click it, and or click it one more time, and then scroll down.
I'm not in that space.
Oh,
Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm not a big fan. Okay.
not a fan, not a fan.
Not a fan. Three stars for new Blackboard. So this is something that everyone needs to become intimately familiar with.
so this is really, besides the discussion questions that you'll be answering, this is the core of the work that you'll be doing and submitting for the course. Already talked about the due dates for each of the assignments and how much they are worth. So all of this, see, 30, 60, 75, 80%, and then the other 20% is participation. So that's 100% of your grade. So what we have
You can't
is
for getting out of here by 8 o'clock tonight,
7:13. How much lecture time have we got?
more than what we can do even if we started now.
But
I'm just wondering because the Chinese restaurant closes at 8:30 and I don't know if I need to make other arrangements for
But
dinner. Go ahead.
you can also, I mean, you'll have next week too.
Right, next week, we can cover everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'd say just, go till you're done and then.
No, I was just wondering about Chinese restaurants, just had an idea for it.
Chinese sounds good.
Doesn't it?
It sounds really good.
I'm hungry, sorry. I was thinking about the one because there's that one across the street from the school.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if it was any good, but
I don't know.
I don't know, it's a little sketchy.
I-
John close to the University Village.
Yeah, like right across the street,
Cash only though.
Cash only.
yeah, not going there.
Okay. Now I'm
Okay.
hungry for food, not
Okay, sorry.
education. Sorry, what do you know? I'm not going to read this to you, but generally, the idea is we've created a fake company, and the first part of this is about the company. So we've got key players, we've got some information about locations, we've got stuff that's completely irrelevant to anything,
Red herring.
red herrings, blue herrings,
Mhm.
I don't know. So this is the scenario about the place that you have gone to work. Starting with the first assignment, you are taking up the role of Chief Privacy Officer for this company. So the work you submit is as if you are the CPO for this company. So you have to put yourself into that mindset. You're taking on a role for the company. The first assignment, as the new Chief Privacy Officer, you're required to provide a set of first-year plans prioritizing Quantum Leap's privacy program needs. You're going to provide a 30-day, 60-day, 6-month, and 1-year plan for your new position. This is not, again, it's not a dissertation, it's not a thesis. Think about it as if you're presenting some key points to the board of directors or to a leadership team in the organization. So the information that you're going to submit for the assignment is to let us know that as the CPO, these are the key things that you want to achieve to build a privacy program in this. Okay. And we lost video too.
2 stars, 2 stars.
Yeah, okay. We're back. Can you hear us now? Okay, so from those of you that were out there, can you repeat back to me what you didn't hear? Can you repeat back to me the last thing you heard? A's for everyone. Yeah. I need a better security profile. I refuse to change my Netflix password.
I know you do.
I'm not gonna change it. Okay, real quickly, first assignment, you're the new CPO. You have to provide a 30-day, 60-day, 6-month, 1-year plan. We're not expecting a dissertation or a thesis, but summary information about the goals that you want to achieve as the new person in this role. For the second assignment, you're going to provide a privacy policy and include a privacy notice for a web component of the company called Enterprise Web Services, EWS. So as we go through the course, we'll try to clarify the difference between a privacy policy and a privacy notice. You'll be submitting both of those things to us as part of the second
And
assignment.
next week, we will for sure cover those at nauseam. Actually, probably the next 3 weeks or 2 weeks
In detail.
in detail.
The third assignment, this one, and we try to clarify it every time, and folks still get confused. So we're going to be talking about privacy impact assessments. And this is where you do some work before adopting a new technology to try to identify the potential privacy impacts if you do adopt the technology. So, and we've got examples of those things. So again, you'll have all the tools you need. What we want as the Chief Privacy Officer, you are going to create a template for a privacy impact assessment so that if Joe Bob over in web sales wants to roll out a new technology, he needs to contact the CPO, figure out how to complete this privacy impact assessment so that the CPO or maybe some other people can engage and be involved in deciding, is this thing worth the risk to undertake? So the privacy impact assessment is essentially a risk management tool to have an understanding of what is the privacy risk if we undertake this new line of business or create this new tool or technology or do a data conversion from a DB2 database or something like that.
We're migrating off the mainframe.
Yes. Is it worth the risk? So what you're going to be turning in is not an assessment of anything, but it's a template with appropriate guidance on how to conduct an assessment, what you as the CPO need in order to review and make an informed privacy decision about whether this should or should not be approved. Does that help? All right. Assignment 4. This one is going to be a very important one and is key to your overall success in the class. Data breaches are going to happen. Everybody's going to experience it at some level, either personally or professionally. So what you will be doing for this assignment is, for your new company, you're going to provide us with a data breach incident response plan. So again, we'll be providing the tools to be able to construct it. You'll have to look at the scenario to make sure we're doing relevant analysis to determine, has a breach occurred? If a breach has occurred, what do I do? What kind of notifications may be required? What laws may be implicated?
What data was impacted?
What data was
there any evidence that the data was used? Lots of things.
Lots of
Who
things.
do I need to notify?
And then again, to reinforce, this is not a cybersecurity incident response plan. We've had plenty of those turned in.
That's right.
It's about the data side. So it could be that a data breach is the result of a cybersecurity incident, or it could be the data breach as a result of somebody not locking a door or not locking a drawer or letting somebody tailgate in and having access to
click
to
on a phishing
to
link.
the fax machine.
And then you click on a phishing
Yeah,
link.
yeah, so it's, there's some real differences in how to be data breach aware, and it's not always about the technology. And then finally, this is, to me, this is the fun part. So we've done all these things through the course of the course. I've built an incident response plan. I've done a privacy impact assessment. As a CPO, I've set all these goals that I want to achieve over the course of the year. For the final assignment, you're going to do an analysis of an incident. So what we're hoping to see is something like an after action report. So you'll put yourself in the role of the chief privacy officer. This thing happened, and you have to basically tell us the rest of the story. So we're providing you with some of the story, but you get to tell us the rest of the story. We've had some amazing responses, some very creative responses, some things that we didn't even imagine.
And we want you to get creative.
Yes. And
Because the real world, truth is stranger than fiction. And I mean, crazy things happen. So we want you
Yes.
to get creative.
yes.
Because nothing is by the book on paper.
So essentially, you're gonna tell us what happened after this incident or through the course of the incident. We want to know, was there a breach or were there breaches? Were notifications required? So we'll be talking about the law requiring notifications when a breach occurs. If you haven't, it's sort of like a cybersecurity tabletop exercise, except we're doing it in the data realm instead.
And no, there is no word count.
Yes.
We're
No,
definitely grading quality over quantity. We've
Yeah.
had some assignments turned in that were short and great, and some that were longer and great. I mean,
and some that were long and bad,
And,
and
yeah.
some that were
short
short
and bad. I mean, yeah, so there's no page count. It's definitely quality. And we will cover more, because each time it's gonna be like your privacy policy. I mean, I don't expect it to be like a 50-page thing. If you
We
turn-
don't want it to be a.
As I said, if you turn me in 50 pages, I'm not reading it anyway. So, you want to make your first few the best ones, because those would be the only ones I'd be reading for your grade. So each one of those are gonna depend. We're gonna talk in detail as we get closer to each assignment. But no word count.
Again, use the tools you have, use the resources you have, but tell us what you use. You have to disclose it. There should be a rhyme about that. If you, you must disclose it. If you,
Let me think about it.
okay, let's get one. If you try it, you must cite it. I don't know. So anyway, you have to let us know where the work
I'm on
came from.
ChatGPT and I'll let you know.
Okay, all right. Most importantly, to receive full credit, the assignment responses must be tailored to the facts and circumstances provided. And we told you there have been countless submissions that were so general and so vague. They basically turned in this blob of stuff and put the company name, Quantum Leap, blah, 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 without any relevance. So you have to bring in the factual relevance of the circumstances.
If the thought's not your own, make that source known.
There you go.
That's what ChatGPT
Thank
does.
you, ChatGPT 5.0. And then the potential data breach scenario. So this is what the final project is about. So here's the start of the fact situation. You made it through your first year as a chief privacy officer. They launched the quantum computing services, called it Q. Almost 3 months ago. It was a huge success. You played a major role in revolutionizing the world of computing. Isn't that amazing? I mean,
You've reached the pinnacle of your career.
If you rely on a source, you must cite it with force.
That's so terrible. You start your morning reflecting on the successes you've had, implementing your plans. After you finish your first cup of fresh brewed Colombian coffee, your phone starts beeping, buzzing, and chiming from incoming phone calls, text messages, and instant messages. I've been through that moment before, and that's a really, really scary moment when I remember it was out by the pool, and the phone.
You know when your
blowing up.
work calls you, like, but long before the work day, it's never good.
Yeah. And it started with text messages, phone calls. It's a terrifying moment. Fortunately, we were prepared, incident managed on a couple of occasions, so no crisis to report. But that moment can be one of the most terrifying of your career. So anyway, this is some of the scenario stuff, what we know, and then you have to tell us what happened. You have to tell us the rest of the story, and that's what the final project is about. Are there any questions about that? Again, we'll be talking about this stuff multiple times.
Right.
Through the course of the semester. We want everybody to do a good job, so we're not bashful about sharing tips. I think
Preferences on the final product, like for each of these, PDF, docs.
PDF.
we have seen so many different things. So we've seen PowerPoint slide decks. We've seen
Sometimes on the first one, yeah.
some folks have built web pages. So the impact assessment, privacy impact
Yeah,
assessment
they built
template,
something.
people have built a web suite.
We've also had great grades that were just an Excel sheet
Yeah.
or a Word document or a PDF. So we're easy.
It's really about, so do you understand the material? Do you understand the issues? Do you understand the scenario that we're facing? And can you apply the things that we've learned to this fact situation to generate a work product? The other thing too, if this is an area that you're even remotely interested in, the stuff that you create from this class could be provided to a future employer. In our privacy and policy class, we created an incident response plan. Here it is.
Okay.
I mean, how awesome would that be?
Okay, I will just tell you, Fred is going to get an A in this course. I can already tell. Because his question was, is a sense of humor permissible in our writing? Please be creative. Says, for instance, in my own real world experience for a cyber breach with a federal agency, the first step was to cover up the incident, minimize negative optics. Essentially, in writing, it would be demonstrating here's what not to do. 100%, you can't make that up. So yes, I will tell y'all this one of my favorite ones. And nobody can use it if you can't use it. So just know that if you use this in your final assignment,
It's off the board.
it's off the board. That basically, he did this whole writing that all this whole breach incident after going through all this was really just a dream sequence and nothing happened and he got up and went to work and it was just fine. Brilliant. I mean, he did the analysis though of what would have happened and all these things started happening and he was comical in it, but then it was a dream sequence. Perfect. So then he woke up and he was like, well, I don't have to give notice to anybody.
Yeah.
You know, it was fantastic. So yes, humor is permissible.
It's an opportunity, again, in your educational lives. You may not have many opportunities to let the creativity flow. So please take advantage of that.
And the real world is going to be that way.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we all know that it's like, you know, here are your procedures. Steps 1, 2, and 3. But in the real world, it never works that way. Like, this is how it should work. I mean, like, how many times have you been trained at work and they're like, this is what you're supposed to do, but this is how I do it. You know? That's how it works. That's how it is. And that is how, so this scenario, everybody's going to come up with something different. So, hopefully. Yeah, and if not, then there's an issue.
When I was working on my master's degree in library science, the assignment, one of our, it was like a thesis paper that we had to write, was, what's her name, Mitchell, that wrote Gone with the Wind.
Margaret Mitchell?
Margaret Mitchell, that a new book had been discovered, and we're responsible for marketing and doing all that stuff. So,
I remember you talking about that.
yeah, so my response, the thing that I submitted, was a series of letters to the publisher from different places around the country. So anyway, it's, having that opportunity to express yourself creativity.
My policy and procedure requirement was law and literature in law school, and it was like I took it my very last semester, and you have to have this requirement to graduate. So like if I didn't pass it, and I had Judge Fleming as my teacher.
Oh, yeah. You
And
did
he loved-
crossword puzzle.
No, he did. He loved crossword puzzles. We did like a whole poetry stint.
Yeah.
We did a music stint. So for the final assignment, we had to pretty much like write a paper about everything that we had learned in the class. I took a gamble and wrote him a haiku. And a haiku is what? 15 lines?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I mean,
4 lines.
yeah,
at
it's
least.
a very short, but it was a series I wrote it was all on one page, a series of haiku. It was like 15 syllables. Yeah, but a series of like haikus. It was a gamble, but I got an A and I passed, so yes, please be creative.
Sense of humor, yes. No. Yeah, there are templates for after action reports. There are templates out in the world that you can use for all of the stuff that we're creating, but you have to customize it to the circumstances we provide. I think that's all on the, most folks, I think, took some time to go out and do introduction. So in the discussion, tell us about yourself. This is an opportunity to start to get to know one another. This one is not graded, but the other ones will be. And again, each week look for the weekly materials. It'll have the reading assignment and then other stuff. And then we'll update week 1 with a link to the recording and link to the slide deck, and then any other materials that we provide. So with that, I'm gonna sit down and exit myself. And I suspect that you may be ready to start the first lecture. Introduction, privacy law fundamentals, is that one first, or introduction? Intro.
We're probably, if nobody's going to object, we probably are going to skip the second lecture, put the second lecture on next week.
Okay.
If nobody's going to object, we'll just do one presentation. So if you object, speak now, but otherwise we're going to do this one and then we'll go. Okay, so we've covered this. Here's the most important thing. My dog's also back to school photos. So I know everybody's been posting pictures of their kids going back to school, moving their kids into the dorm. That's my dogs. This is Kimber is the lab, and Arlo is the blue heeler. Do not let them fool you. They might be teachers' pets, but they have mom trained. So, okay, so we're going to talk about what is privacy. Can anybody tell me? What would you say? Well, y'all can see online, so y'all can see what the answers are because they've got this whole thing screwed up. So I'm going to have to take all those out. But privacy is the rights and obligations that individuals and organizations, because they have some, with respect to how your data is collected, used, disclosed to others, and retained. That's really kind of what privacy is. It's all those rights that are associated with that. We as individuals and as consumers, we see it all the time. you know, whether it's, you know, when we go to the doctor, we have to sign our annual HIPAA notice. We get a, you know, our annual privacy notice in the mail from a credit card or, you know, financial institution. We get the breach emails that our data might have been involved in a breach. So this is what it encompasses. And, okay, that's not. You should care because it's your information being collected too. So keep that in mind. These are not like anonymous third parties. This is your data. This is our data. This is all of us. I mean, you know, when we'll talk about some later, you know, some of the companies that got breached, it was our stuff that was in there. It's not just someone else's. So everything that we do also protects our own stuff. But also the law does require that you care. So that's kind of important too. Okay, so personally identifiable information is made up of any number of these things. It's anything that can identify directly or indirectly a person. So obviously your name is a direct identifier, Jennifer Davis. However, there's multiple Jennifer Davises. So, but my name and obviously my biometric identifier, clearly there's not anybody else. But, you know, the address, any combination of these things, some are, you know, completely direct, but there are indirect ones. Like, so Tim has a spouse and children. You have, I don't know if you, just say you still had a home phone.
A what?
Yeah, you know, the thing that plugged into the wall. But that phone number wouldn't necessarily be identifiable to you, but it might be the whole household. Your birthday. Not unique to you. There's other people that were born on your birthday. And interestingly enough, there is a Jennifer Davis in Bryant, where I live, that has the same birth date. And I worked with a girl named Jennifer Davis at the state a few years ago. So, common name.
And my name is probably unique in the world.
Probably.
There is almost certainly not another Timothy Olthoff.
There might not be. The more unique your name. Jennifer Davis, plain Jane. So this is kind of what makes it up. But there are indirect identifiers. So like, some of y'all are young, so you may not understand this reference, but who knows who this is? Y'all don't get a chance to answer because you can see it on the screen. We gotta fix this.
I know.
It's no fun.
I don't like it.
So does anybody online know who I'm referring to here?
Dwight.
Thank you. Some people are losing, I don't know if it's just the age or what, but people are losing the Office references. And if you don't watch The Office, then again, it is Dwight Schrute. I should have worn my Schrute Farms shirt today. But identity theft is not a joke. So we knew who that was, even though you never said his name. So, you know, like right now, this class, if I said the white male, there's 2 white males in this class right now. If I said there's an African-American female, you know, had a fall, people are going to know it's you. If I said it was a white female, they're going to know it's me. If I said it's a male, could be one of you 3, or a female, one of us 2. It's not, so, you know, sometimes not saying your name or giving your birthday still identifies who you are.
To that point, one of the calls that I hated taking was from a person who lived in a fairly rural part of the state, and court records are generally public records, and there are some limitations about the type of information in those court records that can or should be disclosed to the public. In this circumstance, there was a court filing and an arrest, and there was a basic fact included in the report that it involved an exchange student. So in small town Arkansas, everybody knew what family was hosting an exchange student. So that immediately that victim's identity was shared. Even the name wasn't given, but just that little bit of information was enough with the location to uniquely identify that person. And that was a real hard call when I took that. It was like, man, what do we do in those circumstances?
Well, and that's the thing, like, so there might be suppression sizes for, like, if our cell size is less than 10, we're going to suppress it. But sometimes having the lower number, you have to be careful, because what if there's only like one student in there? Or there's 10 students, so you wouldn't have to suppress it. But maybe you're doing a identification of number of children in the wheelchair, in wheelchairs in the 3rd grade in, Miss Jones's class. Well, she only has 10 students in her class, so you wouldn't just automatically suppress it. Or she might have 30. We'll just say that. You wouldn't automatically suppress it, but if you put 1, well, then people know. Or maybe it's, obviously they're going to see it from a wheelchair, it's visual, but what if it's something like that? So sometimes you even have to watch that. So it's things like that you got to really just think through, because sometimes it's the minimum cell size, but depending upon how you word your question,
And it can be one of those things that's not obvious.
Exactly.
Everybody knows driver's license, social security number, phone numbers. We're going to protect those things, but there are other things that can cause unintended exposure of personal identifier.
Well, I mean, say it's this, like, there's 100 kids, 100 students. How many of them passed? 99. What's the breakdown of passage rates? And then they say, 14 white males, 30,
So were
black males.
were you there when they stopped posting law school grades? Semester, the exam grades?
No, I don't think, they didn't post it on the thing.
Really? So when I was in law school, the common practice was we had our unique identifier for each class, and
yes.
they posted the grades. And then some years later, somebody figured out how to identify just from the posted grades with a unique identifier for each class. Was able to identify everybody and their grades, and basically published it.
Well, like I said, okay, there's 5 of us in here. If we said 4 of us passed, and then they have the breakdown of 2 white males passed, an African-American woman. Are you Asian? Okay. So 1 Asian man. Okay. So you didn't have a suppression size issue, but there wasn't a white female on there. So you automatically know I'm the 1 student that didn't pass. So sometimes it is backwards. So you got to really pay attention to it. Where are you from?
Bangladesh.
Oh, okay.
That's Bangladesh.
Yeah, Bangladesh down here in the south.
You call it.
Yeah. And where are you from?
Actually, I'm African.
Oh,
Yeah.
from
I'm
where?
From Ghana.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. Okay.
We had, a couple of years ago, we had a student from South Africa who joined us live
Online at 4
And
o'clock in the
he
morning.
showed up at every class. One of our favorite students.
He showed up, it was like 4 o'clock in the morning there when he was logged on to class.
It was super cool.
Okay. So some common misconceptions about privacy. One of the big ones is we're not a target for hackers, because, like, why does anybody care about my brick laying formula? Doesn't matter. Do you have customers? Do they buy things with a credit card? Do you have employee data? Everything is a target. It doesn't matter what it is. Everything's a target. It's not just the big, financial institutions and stuff like that. Here's the big one. Technical defenses are enough. Our security team has that under control. Again, doesn't matter. You can have the most, FedRAMP secured data center. If the door's wide open and you let people in, do you let people just go in and plug a flash drive in? Or the person picks a flash drive up out of the parking lot and, oh, what's on this? And plugs it into their network, which we actually had happen. Actually, we had happen at one of our departments that should have known better for sure. So those are some of the big things. It doesn't matter how secure things are. It is not security's responsibility. Privacy is technically everyone's responsibility
All the time.
all the time, because it's your responsibility that if your office has a badge policy to where everybody has to badge in, well, if you're holding the door open for people you don't know, or better yet, what if you work in a large company? Somebody got terminated the day before, but you see them every morning and you still hold the door open for them, not knowing that they were terminated yesterday. You've just let a bad actor into the building. At that point, you might as well not have badges on the door. The receptionist who might take phone calls and write memo pads. Well, is that just out for the world to see? What happens to those? Do those things get shredded? Things of that nature.
So privacy is not a technology problem.
It is not.
And that's one of the battles that we face, because
Right.
a lot of folks on the business side, it's like,
Security's got it, it's a technology issue, and the technology's like, well, I'm just gonna blockchain it, thinking that's gonna solve everything. But not if you lose your unencrypted laptop, or you store things in Dropbox. I mean, so that's the problem. It is a multi-layer approach. And people think, well, I've complied with X, Y, Z, so that's enough. And it does not guarantee that it's secure. You know? It just doesn't. And so there's a fine line between some things. You know, my IT staff has it covered. This is a new requirement. It's too expensive. It's hard to build in. And that's a big thing, is especially with technologies moving at such a rapid pace, it's kind of like renovating the house while you're living in it, trying to go back through, especially some of your legacy things. And sometimes people, you know, businesses look at it and they say, okay, this old mainframe application, we can't address X, Y, and Z on here. However, we will do the best that we can. But in building the new application, when we migrate it off the mainframe, we will build privacy into it, which is where your privacy impact assessments will come in. Anytime there's a change to things, we had a mainframe application that generated letters from the tax department.
did you see the note? So the camera is seeing your screen.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just giving you a heads up.
Oh, no, it's all good.
Okay.
so you have no privacy. I always feel like someone's watching me, right? And but like we had an old mainframe application that was generating like something from the tax department. Well, they upgraded it to get it off the mainframe. And what happened is when they generated the letters, so just say like it was Tim and I in a business together. And so where both of our names would have been on there, and like I would have gotten a letter with both of our names, but my social, and he'd have gotten one with both of our names and his social. They had something reversed like that. And, you know, so that was something we had to go through, but it was because it didn't proper user testing and the impact of that. They just thought, well, I'm going to take this program and move it over here. So these are things you have to think about. Everybody's at risk. I think that's probably supposed to say you won't always know if you've been hacked or if there was a data breach. You will not always know. Sometimes it may be 6 months later, a year later.
Or that's a myth. You'll always know if you've been there.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's the myth. People think encryption's the only solution. Oh yeah, these are all myths. They're only enforced in certain countries. So it's just things like that. Privacy just involves telling people, or it's all on the internet anyway. So these are just a few of the laws, privacy laws and regulations. Most of those, with the exception of GDPR, are just in the US. Now, this is what most people see when they see those. These are not things that you are not going to leave this class being an expert on any one of these things. I'm not an expert. I'm not even knowledgeable on some of those. I'll just say that. I mean, there's a few I know, but that's it. I mean, there's a few I can tell you a little bit about all of them. But we just want you to be aware that these are the kind of things that you're looking at. Some of these overlap. And so you just need to be able to be aware when you go out there and be like, oh, I'm collecting somebody's bank account. And, you know, maybe you're not working in a bank, but maybe you're running the HR system Well, everybody's gonna get a direct deposit, right? Guess what? You got banking information.
Attorneys
Mm-hmm.
in practice are required to keep a bank account
Mm-hmm.
it's a kind of a trust fund. What is it? It's the
IOTA,
IOTA, the
mm-hmm. Trust
IOTA.
account.
So it's interest on lawyers' trust accounts. So every attorney in private practice is required to keep the account. And they're also required to report that account to the account to IOTA.
Which means you have banking information.
I have banking information. So when we were implementing an attorney database that had been done in multiple jurisdictions around the country, and we were looking at this information, the vendor who had done this, again, all over the country, IOTA it's a common practice. So when you pay me $10,000 to represent you, and I'm going to put it in the account, and it's going to earn some interest, and then I'll take payments out of it as I earn the money. But the interest I'll turn over to the IOTA Foundation. They use that to help pay for attorneys for other people. So they've done this all over the country. They had never encrypted the account field. Ever. And again, this is one of those, again, having a
I know.
privacy mindset
Yep.
as a technologist and as an attorney, being aware that
This
was
is not right.
terrible.
This
Yeah.
is not right.
But it's just another example where we were collecting this information, and until technology attorney guy said, hey, this has to be encrypted.
Yeah.
And you need to go and tell all the other jurisdictions that you've deployed this
Exactly.
system to. They need to encrypt that.
So yeah, so you don't have to work in a bank to have banking details. Okay, look, we have 6 minutes. I'm
6 minutes.
still hoping to go get Chinese tonight unless anybody's objecting of us getting out today. So we're gonna try to finish up what we can. Anybody objecting online? I don't think so. Okay, so some data breaches. Y'all can see these here in the class because of the way they've done the technology. But in 2013, 3 billion accounts. How many people are in the world? 7 billion?
Ish.
Okay, still.
Yeah.
We're up to 8 now?
Yeah.
How many people?
8.2.
But 3 billion is more than the population of the US.
Yeah.
More, so just about everybody in the US just say 3 billion accounts were breached. Name, date of birth, email, your security questions, which we all know your mother's maiden name doesn't change, so you use it on the same one. And we all know everybody uses the same passwords or a few variations of one. And it still to this day, as far as I can tell, holds the records for the most breaches. And it was Yahoo. They originally reported about 1 billion people breached. But then after Verizon bought them later, they came back out and admitted to 3 billion. And it says they were slow to react, but they failed to disclose a 2014 incident, which is a $35 million fine and 41 class action lawsuits. So what happens? We all use Yahoo, right? Or we have. In same year, 110 million accounts. Okay, so less than 3 billion, but credit card and debit card information, which is important. And that was Target. And you know, we all shop at Target. 2012, 68 million accounts. Your logon credentials, which again, we all reuse the same passwords in some variations.
Netflix.
Yep, and that was Dropbox, and you could buy it all for $1,200 on the dark web. And then in 2017, 148 million accounts in the U.S. Names, your social security number, date of birth, address, driver's license, which is everything you need, right? And that was Equifax. And what was interesting about the Equifax is somebody went out, so Equifax had this huge breach, which, you know, we don't have a choice of whether or not we want to be in Equifax. I mean, like, it just happens to be whoever you go to get credit, if they use Equifax or TransUnion or Experian, you don't have a choice. And they put up a website that says basically you can go out and check and see if your data was affected, right? You enter your social security number, name, and all that. Somebody created a fake site, looked exactly like it, where you can go out there and enter your information. Equifax tweeted out the wrong link. Equifax, the company themselves, tweeted out the link to the fake website to go. So if you hadn't been hacked before, your information was in there now. But he did it to prove a point. So even Equifax couldn't get it together because they were also in probably scramble mode.
William mentioned online 2 years ago, he deployed a data warehouse for a government agency. And within the first 10 minutes, there were about 15 million attempts to get into it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's constant. It's constant.
All right, so Quest Diagnostic, 12 million, including social security number. That's a lot. Quest Diagnostic does like medical testing, like they often will be the ones to do your lab work. The First American Financial Corp, that was the one that I said about they did like the sequential numbers and you could just hit back and it would go to the next document in line. And they did mortgage and tax records, social security number, bank account statements, driver's license going back 16 years. Nobody noticed in that time? Facebook, we've all heard that. LinkedIn, 93% of their user base was exposed. And that was through violating the API, exploitation in the API. So again, that was technical. So here's the biggest data breaches of all time. Yahoo's still up there. First American Financial, second one, Facebook. So, and again, some of these, okay, Yahoo was hacked. Poor security. That's some unknown. Microsoft had a misconfiguration, which I think is hilarious. Here are just some other, this is a 2024 data breach. There were 3,100 compromises in the year, and it was only 44 events short of 2023's all-time high, with 1.7 billion victim notices. That's a lot. And some of those people, of course, were victims more than once. Ticketmaster, which again, I'm in a personal battle with all the time. They sent out, what is that, half a billion? 500,000? I can't see that far. It's 500,000 victim notices. But you know, it's not like if you want to get a concert ticket, you got to go through Ticketmaster. So again, this happens. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Somebody got a comment?
OPM breach of folks who have security clearances.
Yep.
All their data back in 2015.
The average cost of a data breach reached an all-time high in 2023 to just under 4.5 million. That's the average cost. So what data is at risk? We talked about this: social security number, health information, you know, student ID, username, passwords, because again, people reuse them, your birth date. Not because your birthday is that unique, but they can combine it with other information. PCI data, driver's license. My dad's identity got stolen using a driver's license. It had nothing to do with technology. He walked into a DMV, well, the guy who stole it and my dad's ex-wife, interesting side note, walked into a DMV in like some small town in Mississippi with a copy of my dad's insurance card and the marriage license, because they pretended to be my dad, and said, I just moved here and need to get a driver's license. Mississippi issued the man a valid driver's license in my dad's name. That the man got arrested multiple times through Tennessee and Kentucky. Like I had to get 2 Kentucky DUIs expunged because they weren't my dad. The man had more than $100,000 worth of life-saving surgeries in my dad's name. He eventually, this went from Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, and then he finally got caught in North Carolina and did like a year in prison for it. And the reason how my dad found out is my dad got a letter from the IRS because he apparently worked under my dad's name. And the IRS said, you didn't claim all your income. So that had nothing to do with technology. That they walked in, that was poor control. So you can't, you know. Okay. So the challenges that we are going to talk about for the course of this semester are going to be thinking that privacy is someone else's responsibility. That's one of the number one issues. We're going to talk about training and practice. It should be regular and often, and it should be built in. Privacy is a culture. It is not someone's job. It is a culture. Like your organization, when you become leaders of your companies, it is something that you have to have a culture of. You know, like if it says that everybody has to wear a badge and you're the CEO, guess what? You should wear a badge, because if you don't think it's important, how is anybody else going to think it's important? You know, it is a culture. It's still often reactive. We had a breach. What do we need to do? Rather than being proactive. It's responsive when the fines are real large. There's a lot of different laws, which we'll talk about that in the next lecture. There's a lot of different laws, and depending upon what country you're in, where you do business, where you're located, it's very confusing. And it's often an after the fact consideration when it's built into IT systems. And we want you to think about those from the start rather than trying to build them in after the fact. All right, does anybody have any questions? We're 5 minutes after my 8 o'clock time, but if I speed, I think I can still get Chinese. Any questions?
No questions?
Now, next week, we will have to do 2 lectures, but they're interrelated.
Grubhub. Brubhub.
I know,
What's a
I could.
Brubhub?
You know I'm really desperate when I
Bruh.
order DoorDash, because your total is like $8, but by the time you DoorDash it, it's $52.90. So you know I'm desperate when I order some DoorDash. But I will. Okay, so look, you still have time to drop the class if you've been completely miserable tonight. Hopefully you have not. We always try to have fun, and so these are more getting you to think kind of things. There's work to be done, but nothing that you can't do. Anybody have any questions about the class, the lecture, the syllabus? We will talk about that class scenario ad nauseum for the rest of the term. So don't worry if you have questions about that now. I do encourage you all to go home and read to understand it. But does anybody have any questions?
I'm glad humor is involved. Love to laugh.
It is. It's the only way. Look, life is hard enough as
Oh,
it is.
my
You got to
gosh.
have a sense
Yeah.
of humor.
And short. It's so short.
Oh my God, it is. And the older I get, it is. Yes, it is only, this class is only available in the fall, but if you hate it, sorry. You only have 14 more weeks now.
We're halfway there.
We're a 15th of the way there, so. Okay, well, Tim and I are available if you need anything. Our emails and phone numbers are on the thing. You can call us and text us. I know right now everybody's like beginning of the semester, so everybody's still full of, joy and excitement and energy, but we know that's going to grind down halfway through, so don't forget
And
to.
we're sensitive of that too.
We are,
I mean,
we
as-
are.
As the.
We'll grind
Some
down
of-
as it
yeah.
goes on. And, the holidays coming up, people get
Yeah,
busy,
It's
and
a great another.
we hit
assignment.
responsibilities, but so please do something that makes yourself feel human.
But we
and
do,
take care
we
of
do
yourself.
this because we want to, because we love it, we enjoy it.
I know I'm in
and-
my house shoes. I'll probably wear my house shoes more often than not.
Okay, at least you're not barefoot.
It's cold in here.
I don't even know if there's a instructor footwear dress code.
It's
Is
cold
that
in
a
here. My
university
feet are
policy?
cold.
When it's this hot, I'm normally in shorts.
It's cold in here though.
Yeah,
I'm
it's-
an ask forgiveness kind of person.
Oh, yeah.
it's
I
a
mean,
little
they
cold.
are shoes.
They are
I
shoes.
mean, they're not like fuzzy bunny shoes, but if I had some, I'd wear them. But go ahead. So anyways,
All right, well, see y'all,
yes,
I'll see you in 2 weeks. Jennifer, we'll see you next week.
yes.
It'll be tomorrow
I'm gonna have to go
morning.
to a different Chinese food place, but I'm getting Chinese
Okay.
food.
Tomorrow I'm gonna, I'll get the lecture loaded up and the
Oh.
first
Slide deck.
slide
Okay,
deck
do you need me to,
loaded.
I'll load it up because I got it on that.
Okay, yeah, if
We will get it loaded up.
Yeah, if you'll do the slide deck and I'll get the lecture. And then in about 30.
Jim's out next week, so we'll probably get out by 8 again.
Yeah, or earlier. In 33 minutes, your first discussion question is gonna be released.
Okay, yes, your first discussion question will be posted. Is it the same one we
The
did
first
last year?
discussion,
Yeah, is it the
Yes.
same one we did last year?
it's the same. one.
Okay, good.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, all right, y'all have a good night.
Thank you guys for coming. We love having people.
In person.
Yeah, so if anybody online is local and wants to come in, you can. If those of
Come on
y'all that are
by.
in here, please keep coming
Yeah.
back. But if you're sick or something, please join us
The
online.
COVID years were rough.
Yeah, the COVID years
That
were
was-
just
that
Tim
was
and I,
bad.
it was bad. All right, y'all have a good night.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Tim, I wanted to show you something. You said you're a sci-fi guy.
Oh, yes.
So I have a place up in Newton County, Casper, like, right?
My grandparents are in Deer.
Are they?
They have a place in Deer.